And now, WBW Theater. Welcome to WBW Theater. Listen to a series of radio dramas, comedies, mysteries, thrillers, westerns, all dedicated to preserving the golden age of radio. Those thrilling days of yesteryear, way back when families gathered together around the living room radio to join the theater of the mind. Listen now as we take you way back when imagination ruled and creativity had no limits. Listen now to WBW Theater.
Around Leaning Branch and the Western Territories, there's only one way to take care of killers and sordid characters, and that is with Sheriff Mag Denver of Saddlehorn. Saddlehorn, starring Candace Malico. The story of a woman who stood up to the violence of the Old West, trying to make a difference.
I'm that woman, Mag Denver, Sheriff of Saddlehorn. The first woman sheriff and the last they'd suspect to get things done. There's risk to this job, to be sure, making a woman extra cautious, but also quite a bit lonely.
They're getting off the stage early, Miss Denver. There's Cinda. She got down first.
It's over an hour late. I wonder what held them up.
Oh, sometimes them drivers just won't bother to hurry. They can be awful stubborn.
Anyway, it got here.
I sure hope Cinda enjoyed her visit in Mexican Hat. She looks fine, don't she?
Who's that she's talking to? Mr. Cranston?
I didn't know he'd been out of town, Miss Denver.
That's why the bank's been closed, Twyla. Mr. Cranston won't trust anybody running it if he isn't around.
Hello, Cinda.
Hello, Twyla. Hello, Mag.
Have a good trip, Cinda?
Wait are you here?
Hello, Mr. Cranston.
Chef, we were held up and robbed.
Held up?
Back at Morgan Creek, Mag. A lone bandit. He took the box and he robbed Mr. Cranston here.
Took everything I had, over $300 in cash.
Anybody hurt?
The shotgun rider didn't think they were carrying enough in the treasure box to be worth fighting for. I guess he didn't care what happened to the passengers.
How much was in the box?
Only about $500, the driver said.
What about those other two passengers? And you, Cinda? Didn't he rob you?
He didn't take a thing of mine.
Single me out, Chef. You must have known I'm a banker.
He made Mr. Cranston put his coat on the ground, and then everybody had to throw everything they were carrying onto it. But all he took was what Mr. Cranston had.
I don't understand it at all, Chef.
He bowed to me, Mag. You should have seen him. Real gentleman-like.
Any idea who it was?
No.
Never spoke at all, Chef. He used a 6-gun to tell us what to do.
Did you ever see him before?
You couldn't see him. He was wearing a flour sack over his head with eye holes cut in it, and the rest of him was covered with a long linen duster. He was real clever, that bandit.
Well, there must be something. What kind of horse was he riding?
I never even looked at it.
I did, and it was a mighty poor horse, too. It was a bay gelding, Chef, with 4 white stockings and a blaze, Chef.
Okay, we'll look for it as soon as I talk to the others.
There's something strange about this business, Chef. Why should I be the only passenger he robbed, Chef?
If I can find him, I'd like to ask him that myself, Mr. Cranston. Neither the driver, nor the shotgun messenger, nor the other two passengers, who turned out to be a couple of homesteaders, could give us any more information on the bandit. So Twyla and I saddled up and rode out to Morgan Creek. We found nothing there, but a half-mile further on we spotted the bay gelding, standing alone and unsaddled. I put a rope on him, and then we got down to stretch our legs and take a closer look.
Mr. Cranston was right, Miss Denver. This sure ain't much of a horse.
He's good enough, Twyla.
Good for us, you mean? He's put the bandit afoot already.
Hey, Twyla.
What?
Look at the brand, Twyla.
Why, that's old man Sedgwick's Triple K.
It's Sedgwick's horse, not the outlaw's. Nobody but a fool'd ride crowbait like that to hold up a stage, and this man's no fool.
But everybody saw him on this horse, Miss Denver.
He borrowed him, Twyla, just long enough for the holdup. That way nobody saw his real mount.
Now ain't that smart? He head out that way, Miss Denver?
Yep, toward the river. I'm not even gonna follow him.
You're not?
Once he hits the river, he'll swim downstream to a cattle crossing, and his tracks will be lost. And he's got about a 4-hour start on us anyway.
It looks like he's gonna get clean away, don't it?
Twyla, did you ever hear of Frank Dobkins?
Frank Dobkins? No, ma'am, I ain't.
Well, he's got quite a reputation. I'm surprised you never heard of him.
What's he so famous for?
For robbing the rich and sparing the poor, and for being quite a gentleman about the whole business. Nobody's been able to get enough evidence to charge him with anything that would hold up in court.
Why not?
Like today, we haven't got anything on him.
Well, maybe it wasn't him, Miss Denver.
I'm only guessing, Twyla, but it was Dobkins or somebody who works like him. He held up the stage and took the box and robbed the only rich man on it. And of course, he wouldn't take anything from a lady.
By gracious, if I went to the trouble to stop a stage, I'd take everything. He doesn't sound so smart after all.
It's part of his game, Twyla. Everybody in the country will soon hear about him, and there won't be a poor family anywhere that won't hide him and feed him and give him anything he needs.
He's got them all standing up for him, you mean?
That's the way it works.
You know something, Miss Denver? He sounds kind of like that green Indian they had over in some of them foreign lands at one time.
What?
You know, Robin Hood. You remember him?
Robin Hood, Twyla, and he wasn't an Indian. But you're right. Frank Dobkins works the same way. Outside of pure luck, I don't know how I'm going to stop him. Hello, Mag. Twyla.
Hello, Marley.
You look different, Marley. What have you done to yourself? I had a haircut. Oh, that's it. It wouldn't hurt either of you to get a haircut now and then.
Can't afford it. Not at 25 cents a throw, I can't.
That's all right for you, Marley. You need it. Nobody wants a shaggy medicine woman cutting them open. Medicine woman. Oh, well, what about you? I suppose the dignity of the law is served best by a couple of molting prairie chickens. Twyla,
Yes, ma'am.
take your gun and shoot her.
Yes, ma'am. Hold still, Marley.
Go ahead. Shoot. Nothing'll happen to you. Not around here. You'll go free as a bird. You can run around like Frank Dobkins and hold up stages, no trouble at all. Not from the law. Wait a minute, Marley. Who told you about Frank Dobkins? Floyd did, at the barber shop. He said everybody knows about him now. I expected that. But you've got more to tell me, Marley. Go ahead. I don't know why I bother, but since I'm already here, I guess I might as well. Yeah? Dobkins got a haircut just before I did, Mag. He did? You sure? He told Floyd who he was. He's not wasting any time. What else did he tell Floyd? Said he was going to stay here and gamble for a few days. He's over at the Bent Coin, starting now. He's got $800 for a stake. You can't prove where he got it, can you? No, but there's something I can do. What's that? Look, Marley, his whole game's based on stealing from the rich. If I can stop it, maybe I can show him up for what he is. You mean you think he's a fake? Did you ever hear any outlaw admit he's nothing but a common thief? And a thief will steal from anybody, Marley, rich or poor, if he has to. Well, how are you going to stop him, Mag? Well, for one thing, I'll put 2 shotgun men on every stage. Men that'll shoot. That's a good idea, but I hear Dobkins is quite a gunman himself. Marley, I'd throw him in jail without evidence, but it'd only make him a martyr, and people'd think more of him than ever. No, I've got to outsmart him somehow. If you can. Yeah, if I can.
Hello, Mag.
Hello, Cinda. Say, Cinda, I heard that Frank Dobkins was in here.
He just left. Said he'd be back in a minute. He's quite the fellow, Mag.
Yeah, he sure is.
You hear what he did?
No. What?
He broke the file bank. Won over $1,000.
That won't help.
What do you mean?
All the money he's got now, he won't have to work at his usual trade. He can loaf around for a long time.
No harm in that, is there?
It makes the law look pretty foolish, Cinda. And besides, he's got to be in action before I can stop him.
You still think he held up that stage, don't you?
Well, it's his way of doing things.
Are you gonna run him out of town, Mag?
I'd sure like to.
Well, here's your chance. Here he comes.
How do you do, ma'am? I'm Frank Dobkins.
I'm Mac Denver.
The pleasure's mine, ma'am.
That's right. The pleasure's all yours.
Coming from anybody else, I take that real bad, but I can understand your feelings, Sheriff.
Then we know where we stand, don't we?
Yeah, it's too bad, Sheriff. I'd like to be friends.
You're a thief, Dobkins, and you're probably a murderer to boot.
Yeah, that's a lie, Sheriff. I never shot a man in my life. Unless he tried to shoot me.
To kill a man who's trying to protect his property is murder the way I figure it.
I'm not going to argue with you, Sheriff.
No, I didn't think you'd be dumb enough to. That'd be admitting what you are, wouldn't it?
People talk, Sheriff. They make up stories. I've never done nothing wrong.
How long are you figuring on staying in Saddlehorn?
Well, I never planned, Sheriff, but I'm living pretty well in Saddlehorn. Kinda like it.
Yeah, so I hear.
Only trouble now is to find somebody who's willing to buck me gambling. My luck's been showing too much.
Well, I'm sure you'll find somebody, Dobkins.
I thank you kindly, Sheriff. I hope to. That reminds me. I wanted to talk to a man over there about it. If you'll excuse me, Miss Cinda, I'll be right back.
Sure.
I'll buy you a drink too, Sheriff. No? Then some other time.
Cinda, I want you to do something for me.
Yeah?
You know Bartell Mason.
Of course.
Okay. When you're talking to Dobkins, you tell him you think maybe Bartell buck him at faro. Tell him Bartell's the one man in Saddlehorn who's got the bankroll and who's enough of a gambler to try it.
Why, Mag? You know since Bartell went straight, he's barely made enough to live on.
Don't tell Dobkins that.
Well, I don't understand it, but I'll do it.
Thanks, Cinda. I'll have Bartell in here in about half an hour.
Sheriff Denver.
It's okay, Bartell.
Now, Sheriff, I ain't done nothing.
Don't start shaking, Bartell.
It's not that. You surprised me.
I think I'm gonna surprise you more, but let's get inside.
Well, sure. Come in.
Bartell, you remember what happened a year ago?
I sure do. But, Sheriff, I've kept my word. I swear I haven't done anything.
As far as I know, you have, Bartell.
Oh, good. You had me worried there.
You remember I told you that if you went straight and quit dealing crooked, I'd give you a chance.
You could put me in jail the way things were, Sheriff.
You're the most accomplished man with cards I ever saw, Bartell.
No, not anymore. I'm no better than any other man now.
Tell me something. You know how to win dealing faro?
Oh, I used to take them something fierce at faro. It was a slaughter.
How much money have you got, Bartell?
A couple hundred. Why?
Is that enough for you to take about 2,000 off a man?
2,000?
Dealing crooked.
You been drinking or something, Sheriff?
I'm asking a favor of you, Bartell.
You really mean it, don't you?
Frank Dobkins.
What?
Cinda's setting him up for you at the Bent Coin right now. Go down there and take him. And when you've done it, you come back to my office. I'll be waiting for you.
It's near midnight, Miss Denver.
Bartell must be rusty.
Maybe he's taking his time as to get the full pleasure out of it.
Well, he better take his time. If Dobkins catches on to him, there'll be trouble.
Want me to go over there and see what's happening?
No, we better stay out of there, Twyla. Both of us.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, here comes somebody. Hey, it's Bartell. How'd you make out, Bartell?
Like a bear in the spring, Twyla. But, Sheriff, you said $2,000. He had near 2,500 on him. There it is.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
Oh, I fleeced men for more than that in my time.
I never saw a crook yet that didn't like to brag about it.
Now, Sheriff, you made me a crook.
It wasn't too hard, though, was it, Bartell? But you did fine.
What are you going to do with all that money, Sheriff?
I'm going to see that you get some of it, Bartell, when the time comes. You've earned it.
It's none of my business, Sheriff, but I'd sure like to know what this is all about.
Dobkins is broke now, Bartell. His vacation's over. He's got to go back to work.
Robbing rich people, huh?
Yeah, if he can.
I don't envy you trying to catch him, Sheriff. From what I hear, most everybody in the county's on his side already. They'll make it awful hard on you.
Sure. But I'm a gambler too, Bartell.
If I owned a bank, I'd want it busier than this, Miss Denver.
I wouldn't worry about Mr. Cranston, Twyla. He makes money even when it's closed. Wait here, will you? I won't be long.
Okay, ma'am.
Hello, Sheriff. Come in.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Cranston?
I couldn't get away to come tell you, Sheriff. I thought you'd like to know right away.
Know what?
Well, I rode out to Bill Livingston's main ranch this morning. He wanted an appraisal on some new bonds he's putting up. I took 2 men with me, Sheriff. Fred Gaines and Marshall Rutherford.
They're good men.
You bet they are. That same bandit, Sheriff, with a flour sack and linen duster, tried to surprise us at Twin Gully.
What happened?
Well, he put a couple of shots near us from about a quarter mile away. Thought we'd stop and give up, I guess. But the boys went right after him.
They get him?
No, he ran. He's got an awful fast horse, Sheriff. They couldn't get close enough to even identify him.
That's his 3rd attempt at a hold-up this week, and his wildest.
What are you going to do?
He comes to town most every day, Mr. Cranston. The next time he rides out, I'm going to be following him. I think he's through trying to rob people who are ready for him and who'll fight. Mid-afternoon, Frank Dobkins rode into Saddlehorn. He stood around the plaza for a couple of hours, watched the stage pull out for St. George with its 2 professionals riding shotgun, and then, suddenly seeming to make up his mind, he mounted his horse and rode slowly out of town. Shortly after, Twyla and I were on his trail. About 10 miles north, he stopped at a clump of box elder and waited for dusk, and then rode on another couple of miles to the house of a homesteader called Michael Cady. It was dark when he went inside, and Twyla and I got down and crept up to the place on foot.
What do you think he's doing here, Miss Denver?
We'll find out.
Maybe they're feeding him. He's been so doggone broke all week.
Maybe. Hold up a minute, Twyla.
What is it?
You see where he tied his horse?
Yes, ma'am. He's over behind that wagon.
We'll make real sure of Frank Dobkins. Go over there and unsaddle his horse, Twyla, and then slip his bridle off. But don't scare the horse into making a lot of noise.
I'll lead him off a little before I turn him loose, Miss Denver.
Good. I'll be up by the window nearest the door there.
All right, ma'am.
I wish we'd known you was coming, Mr. Dobkins. The wife could have fixed a couple of chickens. It's quite an honor meeting you.
There's a little cold pork out in the cellar, and I got a jar of spiced apples left, too. How's that sound?
Why, sounds fine, ma'am, just fine, folks. You're doing pretty well out here, aren't you?
We got no complaint. The Lord's been good to us.
We've been doing better than most homesteaders.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You did?
Oh, I've ridden by here a couple of times lately. I could see you got a nice house and some stock. Most folks got nothing but a patch of corn and a sod hut.
It's a shame, ain't it? The way people have to live.
That's why we kind of stand behind a man like you, Mr. Dobkins. Now, I ain't saying nothing, but you take a big banker like old Cranston, why, he's got more money than he knows what to do with. Don't hurt him none to lose a little of it now and then.
That's true. Of course, bankers don't have all the money in the world.
They don't have none of ours. They never will.
You don't believe in banks, ma'am?
No, sir. I wouldn't put a penny in them.
That's right smart of you.
She's like that, Mr. Dawkins. She always said our money ought to be right where we could lay our hands on it whenever we want.
Why, of course it somehow depends on how much you got.
We've been saving all our lives. Must have near $800 now.
What's he doing, Miss Denver?
Talking money, Twyla. Quiet now.
Where do you keep your $800, friend?
It's hid.
Where?
Wouldn't be right to tell nobody, Mr. Dawkins. It's a secret.
Oh, you can tell me.
Oh, no, we can't tell nobody at all.
Yes, you can.
Mr. Doc, what are you doing? What's a gun for?
I just want to know where you keep that money.
You're not gonna rob us. We're poor.
I've robbed poor people before this.
No, you haven't.
Don't be fools. Now show me that money.
You're a fake, Mr. Dawkins. You're a liar.
Sure, but nobody will ever find out. I'm going to kill the both of you.
No!
But you can live a little longer if you show me where that money is.
Don't tell him, Michael.
I won't. He ain't gonna rob us.
I got to kill you anyway now. Now where do you keep it?
I'm going in, Twyla. Stay back.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold it, Dobkins.
Ah!
Don't touch that gun, or I'll bust your other arm.
Sheriff! He was gonna shoot us! He was gonna kill us!
What's the matter with you, Sheriff? I was joking. You had no cause to shoot me.
You're lucky I didn't kill you.
You should have, Sheriff. He's nothing but a murderer and a dirty, common thief.
I'd rather have him in jail, Katie, and on public trial.
I don't hardly know it at all.
It was a joke. I was fooling, I tell you. I never harm people like you, and you know it.
It's all over, Dobkins. You're finished. And maybe some other Robin Hoods like you will be finished too, when people hear what you're like when you think nobody's watching. Twyla, go tie up his arm. He's too valuable now to bleed to death.
Join us again as we bring you exciting thrills and adventure, rip-roaring comedy, and shoot-'em-up westerns and gangbusters. Next time, when your imaginations will be invited into the theater of the mind with WBW Theater.